there, it's Nina here with Walla Stamping. Thank you for joining me today. So I have this adorable little bitty box that I'm going to be showing you how to make. I've got mine decorated kind of nondescript so that you could use it for any time at all. I'm using the Petal Passion Designer Series paper. It's all done in black and whites. You can leave it black and white if you want to, but I'm going to show you how you can do a little coloring on it today also. Then I'm just using a little bit of pop of color with some Melon Mambo on mine, and I'm using some Whisper White ribbon and some white baker's twine to hold my little sentiment in place. So let me show you everything that you're going to need to make this project. Let's talk about the basics that we're going to need to create this project. So as I was saying, I'm using the Petal Passion Designer Series paper, and as you can see, it's in black and white, but because it's just all outlined, this gives you the opportunity to do some coloring if you want to. I'm going to be using some of the Stampin' Blends markers today to color just 2 or 3 of these little flowers. I have a scrap piece of some Calypso coral. It's about 6.5 inches by around 3. And then I have a little scrap piece of some Whisper White. I'm also going to be using some Fast Fuse. I have a 1/8 of an inch circle punch. The ribbon that I'm going to be using is the finely woven ribbon in Whisper White. Then the framelits and thinlits I'm going to be using is the Lots to Love framelits. I'm going to be using this one right here. Then I'll also be using my layering circles, and I'm going to be using the next to smallest scallop and the next to smallest plain circle, and my layering ovals I'm going to use next to the largest. The ink I'm going to use today is the basic black. Now let me tell you about this stamp set. I've used it recently in another project, and I love this little stamp set. It is adorable. It's got a bird, a bunny, a little reindeer, a snow cone, a drink. It could be tea, it could be lemonade, it could be whatever you want it to be. I think because of the different sentiments and the little animals and the sayings that are on here, you could use this stamp set all year long. The little bunny I think would be a great little image to use for Easter. Even this little tree would be too. Then we've got Just for You, Just Because, Thank You So Much. Hello friend, here's to a good day, a little treat for someone sweet. So as you can see, this stamp set could be used for any occasion, any time of the year. What I'm going to do first is my stamping. Got my basic black archival ink. I have my Just Because on a clear block B. I'm going to stamp that right down in the middle there. Then I'm going to do all my big shot work. So what I've done here is I've taken my sentiment, put my plain circle around that. I've put my scallop oval and my scallop circle on the Calypso coral, and I'm going to cut all these out at one time. I've got my trimmer here. I'm going to take the scalloped oval and I'm going to line this up in my trimmer, and I'm going to line this up right here just slightly past that 1 1/4 inch mark. Make sure that it's as straight as I can possibly get it, and then just trim that. And we're going to use the smaller of these 2 pieces. So normally you would cut out 2 of these to make a box that's about the size of this hole that you see cut out in the center. But I'm going to show you how to use this one time, do a couple of extra little score lines, and make a small little cute box with it. Now, as I was saying, I'm going to be doing some coloring on these flowers, and I'm going to focus on this little cluster of flowers here. So I want to line my thinlit in here so that this little cluster of flowers is kind of to one side, and about 1 inch or so, this little flower here is about 1 inch up from the inside edge there. So I'm just going to use my trimmer to do some scoring here. So I'm going to put my straight edge down here at 2 1/8 of an inch. Use my scoring blade to score that, and then slide that up to 2 3/4 and score that again. Just going to get all of those score lines folded. This little piece that I cut off, I'm going to go ahead and attach that now. So I'm going to take my adhesive and just run a strip right in there. Flip this over, and I'm going to pretty much line that up with this first little score line, but before I really stick it down, I'm going to fold it over and make sure that looks like I want it to. And then you'll see it sticks out just a little bit past the edges here, and you can leave that if you want, but I just take my scissors and I come down here beside that straight edge and just snip that off. Now we need to cut these little tabs out right here. So I'm going to snip up each of those score lines that I made, and I'm going to stop at that first horizontal score line, cut a couple little wedges out of it, do the same thing over on this side, and those little tabs will get tucked to the inside. I'm going to go ahead and fold my side pieces over, which I should have done when I was doing the other score lines, but Ella and her girlfriends came in and interrupted me, so my mind went kind of out the window for a second. So this is what's going to be the ins, or the out, what am I trying to say? This portion right here is going to end up being the front of our box. So I'm seeing my little flowers right there. Before I adhere all of it together, I'm going to do my coloring. So I'm going to be using dark and light Calypso Coral, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to color one of these flowers in with the dark Calypso Coral. I think I'll choose this one here. If you want to do shading, you are perfectly welcome to do so. I'm just keeping it really simple for you today. Then take my light Calypso Coral, and I'm going to, well, I prefer the brush end over the bullet end most of the time. So I'm really just going to stop coloring right there at that score line. There's no need to color down below that unless you just want to. Okay, so I've got those colored, and then I'm going to be using my light Old Olive and filling in these little leaves right here. I love the Stampin' Blends. They are so awesome. But I love to color and paint and do all that kind of thing, so anytime I get an opportunity to share a project with you that I can do some coloring in, I am definitely going to. Okay, so as I was saying, this is going to be the front. This is where I'll put my adhesive. Fold these two little pieces in, fold these in, bring this up. Just make sure that everything is nice and even. Okay, then do the same thing over here. Now I'm trying to make sure that my cut edge and my score line on these little tabs are getting lined up evenly. So there you have it. How cute is that? I love it. So this is where I'm going to tie a bow with my finely woven Whisper White ribbon. So get that wrapped around. I have my sentiment here and my scallop circle Calypso Coral. I'm going to put those together. I'm going to take my 1/8 of an inch hole punch, and I'm just going to punch a hole right here in the top. Oopsie, if you can see where I put that. Take a piece of my baker's twine. The first thing I'm going to do with this is the two cut pieces. I'm going to thread from the back into the front. Then I'll make a loop with that end and pull those pieces right up through there. And I've got way more than I need, but I've always rather cut a little too much and snip off what I don't need than to waste it by cutting off too little. Which I know I'm getting some waste this way too, but at least I feel better about it. So I'm just going to tie this in a knot right up here on top. Then I'm going to cut off these tails very, very close. And we are done. Aren't those some of the cutest little boxes you've ever seen? I love them, and they're really easy to make, partially because the Thinlit that you have cuts the shape out for you, as well as scoring it. All you've got to do is add a couple of simple score lines and fold it and put it together, embellish it, and you are done. So we're all done making these cute little boxes. Don't you think they're adorable and just perfect for any occasion at all? And I think this little stamp set, A Good Day, is awesome for this project because it's a small box, there's small little images, they work so well together. So I hope that you enjoyed learning how to make this project today. And you know, I just want to first of all give you inspiration, and then secondly give you the tools that you need to be able to create projects like this yourself. So if you'd like to order any of the supplies that I've used today, just go to wallastamping.com/order-SU. And if you like the video and you'd like to see more like it, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and please share it with your friends. Make sure that you go over to my blog at wallastamping.com. I'll have an instruction sheet there for you. It'll give you all of the dimensions and step-by-step instructions on how to create this project, as well as the list of supplies that I've used here today on there too. While you're there, make sure that you sign up for my newsletter. So again, I'm Nina with Walla Stamping. Thanks for joining me today and allowing me to share this project with you, and I'll talk to you soon.